Since 1986, the Honda Indy Toronto has been a key focal point for motorsports and sport in general here in Ontario. And of course, Toronto, the challenging street circuit, one of the most challenging you'll find anywhere around the world. Also packed with very passionate race fans, always trying to support the local talent. The guy beside me here, Matt Clark, will be running for Canada here this weekend. Again, race fans, my name is Rob Howden, the voice of this USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. And indeed, we already had this guy on a broadcast before a couple years ago when you weren't racing here. You were in juniors, but now you're here. Your weekend, your first race of the weekend coming. What are your thoughts going into this event this afternoon?
We didn't quite maximize qualifying, so we start P7 on the grid, but, I mean, I like this place, and you can pass here, so we're looking to move forward in race one and do a good job, hopefully end up on the podium.
The thing for you is I think you're more busy than anybody else throughout the week, right? All the events that you had. I know you were up at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for an event. You had to come down here for the press conference. You had a deal going on Thursday night as well. A lot of work to be done. You get to get in the car, though. That's when things kind of quiet down, right?
100%. I get in the car, and honestly, as soon as the engine fires, my mind just kind of quiets, right? Like, the nerves go away. You're in your own little space. No one can bother me there. But very fortunate for all the opportunity given to me this weekend. I mean, Green Savory, the promoter, has done an incredible job with the media opportunities, and we've had some really good support, so looking forward to carry that through the rest of today, Saturday, and Sunday tomorrow.
Are you ready to move forward? Is the car good? What do you think of the racetrack?
The racetrack's improving rapidly. So, I mean, IndyCar's out there again now, and honestly, every session is a different racetrack in terms of the balance of the car and how much grip it has. I think the fastest session is going to be the last race on Sunday. So we're kind of, making some adjustments right now. Got to get the car a little bit better for race one, but we'll be there when it matters.
And that's it. This race, of course, in the afternoon here in Toronto on a Saturday. A beautiful day right now. Temperatures are working their way up into the low 80s. The track is going to change. When you sit down with your engineers, what do you think about? Is it about maybe pulling some grip out of the car? Or what do you got to do to make it fast?
Usually it is, yeah. Usually we're pulling some grip out, right? Because when you get here, and I mean, these roads have been street roads for 360 days of the year. They have zero grip, so you make the setup very aggressive for practice one and even maybe Q1. But as the weekend goes on, you're right. You kind of try to dial the grip out, get that car to rotate, and then we'll be good. As
Max said, this is normally rush hour traffic on Lakeshore Boulevard Monday to Friday, but they're going to be cooking here this weekend in USF Pro 2000. Mac, of course, the local favorite, everybody cheering on him to come home with a win, at the very least a podium. One thing that is happening as well, this isn't just about this weekend. This is the championship run to the end. We're in the stretch run here and then Portland. That's all that's left for USF Pro 2000. We had a chance to talk to the three drivers who are in the middle of the championship fight to see what they think about starting it here in Toronto. The Honda Indy Toronto, always one of the most crucial races on the year because it does really start the stretch run to Portland and the finale. In USF Pro 2000, we have ourselves a fantastic championship battle, and one of the drivers most definitely in it is Nikita Johnson from VRD Racing, coming off back-to-back wins, sweeping the weekend at Mid-Ohio. You roll into here to Toronto. What's the mindset to start knowing you still have 4 races to go and you're right in the middle of the championship fight?
Win all 4. I mean, my specialty is winning, and I think wins really reward you in this championship. We had up and down season a little bit mid-season, and we just need to win and hope Lockie gets outside the top 3. But I think if we just go win, the championship will sort itself.
The winning's kind of happening for you right now. The 2 wins at Mid-Ohio. You get your first victory in GB3 here as well. Coming into this weekend, does this track suit you? Are you, you've won already on the street circuit at St. Petersburg. Can you win here as well this weekend?
Yeah, I think street circuits are my specialty. Very fast at St. Pete always. We were fast here, second in practice, 1/10 off of Lockie. So it's going to be tight. Lockie's very fast. We're very fast, so I think it's going to be an interesting weekend.
Jace Denmark is no stranger to a championship battle. He was in the middle of one in 2022 in USF 2000. You're back in the title fight with 4 races to go. Mindset coming into this weekend?
Same as I had in 2022. I mean, I learned a lot from that year being in a championship battle, and man, it's really good to be back in one this year. It's like a different type of fuel for the next couple of races, and being at Toronto, one of my favorite tracks, I've just haven't been happier.
You've got some great drivers, 2 different teams as well, Lockie Hughes in Turn 3, and of course from VRD Racing, Nikita Johnson. That's who you're battling it out against. 4 more races we start in Toronto. Does it change your mindset? Do you get super aggressive where you are in P3?
Well, at a place like Toronto, you kind of have to let it play out. You just have to show up with a fast car, which is what we did at practice this morning. So, I'm excited to just run my race and see what happens points-wise, because 2022 is a similar situation. I think it's very similar points, like how far back I was in 3rd coming out of Mid-Ohio into Toronto. So we'll see what happens between the both of them, but I'm going to stay clean.
The one driver everybody's chasing in USF Pro 2000 is this guy right here, Lockie Hughes from Turn 3 Motorsports. Lockie, you've been in a championship fight before last year in USF 2000. You're leading coming into Toronto. How do you feel? What's the mindset for the weekend?
Feeling good. Happy to be here in Toronto, riding some bikes around. No, I love this city. It's like cool. Everyone's like active and outdoors on the water and everything. So no, I just like being here. It's a fun track. It's a tough track. It's bumpy and it's physical, and it'll be a fun race. But no, I honestly just here. I just want to grab some wins. I just really want to grab another win. Although it's been one round, feels like it's been forever, so that's my main target at the moment.
You were able to sweep, of course, at Road America, getting yourself right into the championship fight. Is the championship first and foremost in your mind, or can you kind of put it away and just say, hey, listen, race by race and go for victories, like you said?
Yeah, championship for sure is in my mind, but at the moment, yeah, just trying to go for victories. Last year, I probably thought about the championship too much, and, at the end of the day, life moves on no matter what happens, so I just want to get some wins here and just get a really good lap around this joint.
One of the things about these last couple of races, Toronto and Portland, they're tough racetracks, as we know, right? They're fraught with peril everywhere around Toronto, and of course the opening corners of Portland. What are your thoughts on, do you give it a little extra room maybe out there if you're up front, or do you just want to pull away and not have to worry about anybody else?
Exactly. I'd like to pull away and not worry about anyone else, but we'll see. I mean, that's probably not going to be the case. It's probably going to be a bit of a dogfight, so no, I'm ready for it.
What would it mean to you to have the scholarship colors on your Indy Next car next year?
Oh, it'd be a dream. It'd be a dream. That's obviously the ultimate goal. Hopefully that can happen.
Lockie Hughes has a solid point lead, folks, coming into this Toronto weekend here. Portland, of course, over a month away, but all focused on trying to win this championship. Winning races here in Toronto, we get the job done. I'll tell you, when we get to Portland, we're going to have a fantastic battle to see who comes away with a scholarship for 2025.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
Well, with just 4 more races still left in the USF Pro 2000 Championship Series, 2 here in Toronto and 2 in Portland at the end of August. It is the stretch run. The championships, as we talked about in the pre-race, are up for grabs. 3 drivers in the middle of this fight and ready to get things underway. Again, folks, my name is Rob Howden, the voice of this USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. I'll have USF 2000 race winner Sam Corey joining me here as my driver analyst, the voice of the Honda Indy, Todd Lewis, with us here as well. And again, we started the day at 8 o'clock this morning, 67 degrees. It was a beautiful morning here for qualifying for tomorrow morning's races. 80 degrees right now trackside here on the streets of Toronto, just outside BMO Field in the Enercare Center. And it's time to go at it here now with 25 laps of racing for the drivers at the very top level of the USF Pro Championships. These USF Pro 2000 drivers just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series, the last 6 champions, 4 of them running in the IndyCar Series, 2 starring in the Indy Next program. This series continues to deliver. Let's have a look at the 17 drivers set to tackle this 1.786 mile, 11-turn, tough, bumpy, and very tight street circuit. Starting at the tail of the field, the American driver who's full-time in GB3 this year. That's Sean Rashid, back with us here for VRD Racing in the number 32. He'll start 17th. Ahead of him in row number 8, the 33 of Tyke Durst, the Turn 3 Motorsports rookie. Starting on the outside of row number 8, he's been improving throughout the second half of the season, posting some top 10 finishes. Durst, though, starting deeper in the field in 16th, alongside Logan Adams, who's had a rough weekend throughout the weekend so far here in Toronto. The Comet Racing Newcastle Motorsports Park entry. Adams, a rookie in the number 21, starting in 15th. Coming off, though, a strong 4th place finish at Mid-Ohio just 2 weeks ago. Row number 7 on the outside, Cooper Becklin, the TJ Speed Motorsports machine. He is the number 28 for Becklin out of Portland, Oregon. He'll start 14th today, 4th tomorrow. He's been getting quicker and quicker. Let's see if that 4th place he showed this morning in qualifying translates into the ability to move forward here. He'll start on the outside of row number 7. Inside, another driver who struggled a bit throughout the weekend, but does, I believe, have the pace to run up front. That is Frankie Mossman in that number 6 machine at a Newport Beach, California. Mossman for Jay Howard Driver Development, rolling off from 13th. Up into row number 6 right now, George Garcia, the Mexican for D-Force Racing in the number 10. He'll start 12th. And another driver who worked his way up into the top 5, Alessandro DeTullio, qualifying this morning. Very impressive, the Floridian. His debut year, first year, actually only second weekend running here in USF Pro 2000, having debuted 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio. DeTullio for BN Racing in the number 78, starting in the 11th spot. We'll move now up to the top 10. Ricardo Escoto, DeTullio's teammate at BN Racing, will start 10th place in the number 77. The Mexican driver starting on the outside of row 5. Alongside him from Brazil, Nicolas Monteiro for D-Force Racing in the number 9. Up now to row number 4. On the outside, one of the drivers in the middle of a championship battle here right now. That is Nikita Johnson, 26 points back. The driver who won both races at Mid-Ohio, a deep starting spot in 16th. He will be tearing his way forward in that number 17. Definitely a driver to watch for VRD Racing, just 16 years of age out of Gulfport, Florida. Johnson starting in the 8th spot. But if you're here in the grandstands because you're a Canadian racing fan, this is the guy you're watching right now. Starting on the inside of row 4, P7 for Milton, Ontario's Matt Clark for D-Force Racing. Clark looking to try to work his way forward to get a strong run here in the home race. There's the driver starting outside of row number 3 from New Zealand, Liam Skeets, coming in here currently in the 5th place in points. Skeets for TJ Speed Motorsports in the number 26, starting in the 6th spot. Alongside him, though, his debut weekend here, subbing in for Christian Brooks in that Pabst Racing machine, the Dutch driver Glenn Van Berlo. Very impressive in qualifying with a 1:11.007, his first qualifying effort. He'll start P5 inside of row number 3. Row number 2 now on the outside. Jace Denmark at Indianapolis, Indiana, the Arizona native for Pabst Racing. And the number 20, definitely in the championship fight. He is only 32 points back, looking for his first race win of the year. Denmark at the 20. The three-dimensional services machine starting in 4th spot alongside last year's USF 2000 champion. A winner here in Toronto last year. The beautiful livery of the scholarship car, the driver who won the year before, gets the scholarship colors. That is Simon Sykes of Augusta, Georgia for Pabst Racing in the number 18. 17 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. This driver here is on a tear this season. That is Lockie Hughes, 4 wins. He swept the weekend at Road America. He leads the points over Nikita Johnson, the driver out of Australia, now living in Carmel, Indiana for Turn 3 Motorsports. Lockie Hughes starting on the outside of the front row in a Turn 3 Motorsport front row lockout. On the pole position, ladies and gentlemen, in the number 3, just 16 years of age, Danny Dashelski in the Vera Guitars machine for Turn 3, getting ready to rock and roll here. It'll be Dashelski and Hughes on row 1. Sykes and Denmark on row 2. Van Berlo alongside Skeets on row 3. Clark and Johnson row 4. Monteiro and Escoto will be on row 5. DeTullio and Garcia row 6. Mossman and Becklin row 7. Adams and Durst row 8. And at the tail of the field, looking to find the gap as he comes through 1, 2, and 3, Sean Rashid. Time to get things underway, folks. 17 drivers ready to fire up the power plants behind them, all built by Elite Engines, 250 horsepower. And again, time for the command to get things underway. Joining us from Continental Tile with the most famous words in racing, Sandra Da Silva.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there you have it. All 17 engines will come to life right now. Getting ready to get things underway. It'll be one lap around and we will go green. And joining me in the booth, let's come to him right now. Sam Corey, you did this already today. You already had that one lap and go racing. You got the race win. How's it feel? Let's just start with the race win. How do you feel a couple hours down the road having scored that victory?
Yeah, winning earlier today was really cool, especially being in Canada. One of, a beautiful city and a beautiful track, really fun track. So it just feels good to finally get a win here and, move up in the points. So obviously I'm biased in this race with my teammates at Pabst, so we'll see what they can do.
What's going on in their mind right now? I know you're sitting on the grid. You're waiting to fire. It's a warm day. It's 80 degrees right now. You're getting hot in the cockpit. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking mentally before you fire things up?
it's just sitting in the car, just mentally preparing yourself, telling yourself that you're fast enough to move through the field and to win the race. So just, slowly preparing your mind and your body just to what you undergo during a race, just saying to yourself, I believe I can do this, and being confident in your ability.
On the track right now for essentially the reconnaissance lap, this one lap around, what are you looking for? You're looking to see how maybe the tracks changed a little bit. IndyCar, of course, just had qualifying. What are you trying to pick up on the warm-up lap?
Well, obviously, because IndyCar's gone out, there's a ton of rubber down, some marbles offline.
Yeah.
So you're trying to see where everything's at, see how much grip IndyCar has laid down, and then obviously just get your brakes and tires warmed up so that you can charge hard into turn one.
That's it. You have to have everything ready. Mentioning the brakes is key. You can see them swerving back and forth to get those Continental tires warmed up, but you'll drag the brake a little bit to try to see if you can't build some heat into the brakes as well, because you want to have full stopping power when you head down into turn number one. We'll bring, of course, Sam in throughout the broadcast here for some expert advice of a guy who's already been on the racetrack. Todd, you've watched every race so far here this weekend. Are you ready to go for one more here on a Saturday?
Can't wait to see the USF Pro Championships get after it. USF 2000 was sensational earlier. We've had lots of action here today, and the other series as well. Sports car race was terrific. Radical Cup race was terrific. Dramatic qualifying with the NTT IndyCar series. Fourth race of the day, so let's cap it off with a good one.
Yeah, here's the thing, folks. If you watched USF 2000 earlier today, this particular category, more of everything. More horsepower, more downforce, more braking capability, bigger tires, more of everything. And they're going to hustle these cars around the track. And as Sam had mentioned, with all that IndyCar rubber down, there's going to be a lot of grip out here for these drivers as well. It's a bumpy racetrack. It's a tight racetrack. They've made some improvements since last year, so it's better through this particular section of the racetrack. But it is now time to get at it. 17 drivers set to go. Turn 3 Motorsports on the front row. Danny Dershelsky and Lockie Hughes onto the front straightaway. Time to go for race number 1 of USF Pro 2000. Just 4 races to go in this season, and we are underway. Green, green, green. You see the tail of the field did not get packed up well. Dershelsky's going to go down the inside. Lockie Hughes is going to try to run there on the outside, and boom! That is 2 drivers off. Liam Skeets and one of your point championship contenders, the 17 of Nikita Johnson, in the wall in turn number 1. So they'll let these guys race, I believe, for a couple of corners. But other than that, we will see full course yellow damage, big-time damage to the, I believe, right rear for Liam Skeets. Likely let him run all the way up maybe till turn number 6 or 7. Get him through turn number 3. That way they'll get an opportunity to get a couple of passes done, get those opening couple of corners locked and loaded. As I say, we're still green flag. Trouble for Van Berlo as well. There's the 20 of Denmark up on the wheel coming through. Everybody kind of throwing it around here in turn number 5. Opening circuit, they'll come down to turn number 8, and I would expect, there you go, full course yellow finally being thrown. We let them run for about 6, maybe 5 or 6 corners, but the full course yellow has come out because contact in turn number 1 has taken out Liam Skeets, and also contact for Nikita Johnson. So Lockie Hughes into pit lane. That's your point leader. He's got into pit lane as well. So a lot of stuff going on. Johnson, one of the championship contenders. Hughes in the pit lane as well. We got a replay coming, and we're going to make sure we lean on Sam Corey here to have a look at this. Our driver analysts, here they come down into the corner. Skeets to the far right side in the 26. Right behind him is the 17 of Nikita Johnson. So watch the right side of the screen. Those are the 2 drivers that are involved. I believe Skeets is going to come back through here. Where is the contact? Sam's going to have a quick look at this. Turning into the corner. Does Nikita just get too deep on the brakes? No, they look pretty. Here's the contact before. No, it's going to be Denmark. Denmark kind of gets into it a bit with his teammate Simon Sykes. Sam, a little contact there. It looks to me like Skeet just checked up, I think, and nowhere to go for Nikita Johnson. Would you agree with that?
It looks like he just checked up coming into the corner there, and Nikita kind of just had too much rolling speed there. So obviously unfortunate for them. I'm trying to see what happened to Glenn Van Berlo. Being one of my Paps Racing teammates there in the pit lane. So
he started in the 5th position. Of course, that replay, we'll be able to cue back that up and have a look at that again. Always good to take a couple more looks at it because you've seen it one time. You're kind of decipher what has happened. I kind of walked everybody through it. We'll have another look at that when we can. Here it is again. We'll just let this one happen. Let it roll out here. I like the move way to the outside for Skeets there.
Especially breaking on line there.
Yeah, indeed. That is the racing line. Everybody else on the inside, very dirty. So watch Sykes come in here. Sykes is there. Denmark coming across. Watch the 18 and the 20. There's the contact there.
Sheets just turns out of
it.
Yeah.
Chain reaction, right?
Yeah.
So the contact, a little bit of contact there. You saw that Simon Sykes was in the inside. A little contact between he and Denmark. Denmark pushes a bit wide and likely gets out of the throttle a bit. And here's Van Berlo up there. So something happened, I think, wow, we're going to need to watch this again to see what happened up front, because it looked to me like the 44 Lockie Hughes slowed up a little bit, Todd, and Van Berlo ran into the back of him.
It looked like Lockie Hughes and Danny Dzelski had a little light coming together just as they were on the exit of corner number 1, and I'm not sure if that's where the damage incurred, but it did slow both drivers down and allow others to move past, and that looked like that might be the problem for Lockie Hughes.
So let's re-rack that replay when we can and look at the front of the pack as opposed to the incident that put the two drivers in the paddock. There's Van Berlo right side of the screen. He is into pit lane. He has had a rough one because he qualified so well, P5, and then horrible qualifying effort. Had some issues in this morning's qualifying session. He'll start at the tail of the field tomorrow. All right, let's watch at the front right now. Hughes is going to come across the bow. Oh, Shelton, does he get loose through the corner? He does. He's got some understeer. I mean, some oversteer at the corner.
Looks like Lockie has to turn out of it. Yeah.
So the driver, look at the contact here coming out of the corner. Wow. So Lockie's probably on the brakes almost here.
Almost clips the wall to his driver's left there.
So Sykes able to go, here's a good shot. Sykes able to go to the inside, and there's the contact for Hughes. Wow. Right front to left rear onto Danny Dzelski.
Dzelski very slow, yeah.
There is so much to unpack from turn number 1 here. And it looked to me, I think we talked about it, looked like Dzelski trying to go down the inside. Todd very likely got in there, and it seemed like the rear end started to break loose. Sam, you've had the starts here. You were able to take the lead on the start. You go down the inside like that. Are you just asking too much of the tires at this point?
I mean, honestly, because, you don't have the tire temp yet. You have some, but you don't have all of it. Going into turn 1, you're just pushing the limit. You want to get to the lead. Obviously, you can't win it in turn 1, but for Danny Dzelski there in the lead, just trying to keep Lockie behind him, especially him being the points leader, wanting to win this weekend, just trying to keep him behind him. Looks like he just got in a little bit too hot and turned in a little early.
So we talked about what happened on the racetrack. Let's talk about what this has done to the championship battle right now. Coming into this race, Lockie Hughes, Nikita Johnson, Jace Denmark separated by 32 points. All that chaos in turn 1. Nikita Johnson's out of the race. He's P2. Lockie Hughes now still on the lead lap, came into the pit lane, but he's back in 14th. He's going to be able to power his way forward. Jace Denmark is now running 3rd with an opportunity to gain a ton of points. And why do I always keep telling everybody it's not over until we're done the final race at Portland? You never know what's going to happen, especially turn 1 at Toronto, turn 1-2 at Portland as well. Simon Sykes, who is all the way back in 7th place in points, leading the way right now. Matt Clark, who started 7th, finds himself in 2nd. So you never know what's going to happen here. Let's restack them for you. Simon Sykes for Pabst Racing leads the way. Matt Clark up into 2nd. Jace Denmark, although even a little bit of contact with his teammate, he holds on to 3rd. Nicholas Montiero goes up to 4th. Ricardo Escoto 5th. George Garcia Arce in 6th. Alessandro DeTullio 7th. Danny Dzelski able to hold on. He comes through for 8th. Mossman in 9th. And Logan Adams now up into 10th position as well. And we are going to get the green flag, I believe, this next time by Sam. Again, Sam Corey joining us here from Pabst Racing, a winner earlier today in USF 2000. When the chaos like that happens and people are coming around you, what are you thinking? Just trying to keep the hands steady? What are you thinking when everybody's kind of running around you like that?
Yeah, when you're 3 abreast going into turn 1, you're just trying to maintain and trying to keep your car and get through cleanly, because you've got 25 laps here in this USF Pro race, so a lot of time to make up ground and to make up position. So I'm happy right now. Simon Sykes, my teammate, leading. Jace Denmark doing a really good job as well, especially in the points. This is perfect for him if he can just get a clean end of the race and good points.
We do what we can to have our driver analysts be unbiased and maybe take off the team shirt. The fact that you're actually wearing a team shirt right now, going to a nice sponsor dinner tonight. So we're going to have some Pabst Racing lean towards this program here. We got a biased driver analyst. I'll do what I can to kind of smooth things out. Todd and you'll try to keep things balanced.
I'll do my best to try and remain
I appreciate
impartial.
That.
I'm cheering for these guys.
You are cheering for them. So Simon Sykes, who won here last year in USF 2000 en route to a championship, is going to take the green flag. He'll punch off, but right there with him is the hometown boy from Milton, Ontario, just down the 401. Matt Clark trying to go for the lead. He'll go to the outside. Big move to the inside, though, for Jace Denmark, trying to get a better run out of turn 1 to get that run down back straightaway. 2x2 a little bit further back. That is, I believe, one of the BN cars and one of the D-Force cars side by side through turn number 2. The long run down Lakeshore Boulevard, significantly quicker than the drive home from work when you're leaving downtown. Todd got a laugh out of that one. Indeed, this is a traffic jam waiting to happen on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I guarantee you, folks, 362 days a year, it's a traffic jam, but not here this weekend. Super quick, and the drivers clean through the first half of this lap as we're back to racing once again. There's another TJ Speed car that we'll see starting up front. Cooper Becklin, a great qualifying effort in race number 2. He's trying to work his way back forward, currently 11th. Up front, though, a fantastic opportunity for Simon Sykes, Matt Clark, and Jace Denmark to potentially get some quality results that they're looking for here. And we'll keep an eye for sure on Lockie Hughes. Oh, Durst almost loses it coming through turn number 8. His teammate Hughes is going to go around the outside, so move Lockie Hughes now up to 12th. He's in full damage control right now, trying to get himself forward. The damage to his car. Matt Clark and Jace Denmark in the middle of a scrap now here for the second spot. Look at the lead for Simon Sykes. Denmark has been able to go through, so move Denmark into second. Sam, this is big. Pabst Racing. I'll balance it out when you're done, but your team running 1-2 right now.
I'm super happy right now. No, it's the thing with Simon is if you let him get out front, he's going to check out. He's so consistent, just hitting his marks every single lap. He can drive away from everybody.
It's so funny you said that because that's exactly what I was going to queue up. We saw this last year in USF 2000. If he was able to get out front into the lead last year, his first opportunity for a real top-tier full-season ride, capitalizes and wins the championship. If you give him a lead like this, he puts the bit in his teeth. He's won countless SCCA national championship runoff events, F1600, F2000. This guy is a wheelman for sure. And again, if Simon Sykes can get out front and this thing goes clean and green to the end, they're not going to catch him. He's that quick when he gets out into clean air for sure. So an opportunity for him to pull away. And Jace Denmark, listen, you know in his mind right now, he says, hey, listen, Johnson's already out. Lockie's running 12th. This is my chance to get back in the fight. Jace Denmark, who has such a good run here over the last couple of races. You got to go back to the first race at IMS for a finish outside the top 10. Third and sixth in the other 2 races at IMS. A strong second on the oval at IRP in the Freedom 90. He goes to Road America and goes 4.43. And then, of course, Mid-Ohio, second place in both races. This kid is just on a upward trajectory right now. New sponsor in 3-Dimensional Services and Doug Peterson. Great to have a guy of Doug's ilk on your side, and a racer at heart for sure. And Denmark looking to get that first win of the season. But right now, there's your lead. Sykes leading, Denmark in second. It's still Clark running in the third spot in the Klubine Motorsports D-Force entry. And behind him, it's Ricardo Scotto and Alessandro D'Atulio. The 2 BN Racing drivers are battling it out here, Todd. That is for 5th and 6th.
I was going to say 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Jorge Garciarsis and Danny Dzelski, who had that contact on the opening lap with Lockie Hughes, has also been involved in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place battle as well.
Yeah, we're not done. There's a long way to go here. 6 laps down of a 25-lapper. Lots of time as well. Oh, big lock up there for Montiero. He had to move to the inside. I believe that was a Garciarsi potentially, or a Scotto to the inside. He had to check up and not get into the wall. So, again, the front-running drivers will stretch away a little bit. That's the one thing you always try to teach these young drivers. As a big move there for Dzelski. You see the rear of that car step out, Sam? We'll come back to what I was going to say. What's it like coming through that corner as we see the action coming down into 1? We've been seeing cars just unload the suspension and really start to jink when you're back on power coming out of 11.
The thing with 11 is it's so bumpy on the exit. It's like you're going through the whoops on a dirt bike. It's a blast. This track is an absolute blast, and there's a lot of character in it. But just getting that good exit shot onto the front straight, you want to make sure that you get on power early there and just to motor yourself on and down.
And you think about it with this particular category, one step up. This is where you want to be next year. More horsepower, the tires are bigger, the more grip. That whole bucking kind of action is even more pronounced in these cars here than yours.
Most definitely.
So here we go again, working our way through lap number 7, actually working lap number 8 right now. Simon Sykes has a lead of about 0.6 of a second. We will start looking at lap times because Jace Denmark is dialing things in. He's the fastest driver on the racetrack right now in that number 20. Denmark, as I said, looking for his first win of the season. Simon Sykes got one at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course back in May. But Denmark knows if he can win 4 races in a row, he's going to walk away with a scholarship that puts him into Indy next year. Hold on. Okay, so this is fantastic. We've been watching through qualifying, through the races, and we have a yellow down in 1 like a driver's gone off. Potentially the number 32 has gone off. Sean Rashid maybe with an engine problem here. I don't think we're full course yellow, but they did have yellow down in turn number 1 for Sean Rashid. But Todd and I sat in this booth, and we watched qualifying earlier today. We watched a race already, and we watched these drivers come out of turn 10, getting super close to the wall. This is the first time Sam Corr's been able to watch it as well. It's a big move to the inside here. Lockie Hughes going to take a spot away from Frankie Mossman. You were wincing. You were watching how close they were getting to the wall. You're like, oh. Dude, we did that for 20 straight laps on your race. It's pretty wild in that corner. You've probably the first time you've seen it from this angle.
You use all the road there, and you really don't realize how close you get.
You do. Trust me, we've been holding our breath, and your parents are holding your breath, and everybody at home is watching you, Sam, is holding their breath. That is a tough corner. You guys get so close there and almost touch the wall with the right side tires. I just love watching you wince. That was fantastic.
That's our job, though.
That 100%. You have to have a close shave. Watch these drivers come out of turn 11 here. How close do they get? Oh, there's about a foot. A lot of drivers getting right out there, pushing it hard. You can see the car starts to jink when they get out there as well, the bump that they're coming through. Good job for the field coming through here as we now have 13 of the 17 remaining. Nikita Johnson, Liam Skeets, Glenn Van Berlo, and now Sean Rashid out of the race early. 9 laps down, still 16 to go for the drivers here. And again, the lead now is still a full second. Jace, I think maybe Simon might have had a rough lap there at one point because Sykes has got back down to a 10.7, Denmark at 10.9. So he was closing a little bit, although you got to go back to Lockie Hughes for the fast lap of the race. And I'll tell you, this will be one of those races potential for first and second for Sykes in Denmark, right? But what Lockie Hughes does here this weekend, if he ends up winning the championship, he can look back and say, I was 15th or 16th at Toronto. I ended up being in the top 5, whatever it may be, salvaging points.
It's all about damage control, isn't it now, Sam? It's like, okay, I'm back in the pack. I've got to put in quick lap after quick lap, try to gain as many positions back as I can, understanding it's not realistic to think that I'm going to win the race, but I have to close the gap on the number of points my teammates and everyone else is going to gain.
And Nikita Johnson is out of the race. He's second. So the bottom line is he's already out. He's dead last, so he's not going to get the points he needs at all. So Lockie, whatever he does here is going to pull away a little bit more from Nikita Johnson. It's more about Jace Denmark now in second, pulling in 25 points. Lockie's down right now where he's going to be pulling in probably low, like 10, 11, 12 points. So this could potentially be a 10-point swing to bring Jace Denmark much closer. Sykes, Denmark, Clark, your top 3. Ricardo Escoto is right there, though, as well. Alessandro Di Tullio, the 2 BN Racing drivers have been finding speed throughout the weekend. Again, watch them pushing hard. There's the number 77. That is Ricardo Escoto, just off the gearbox. And here they come through 5. You'll see a good look. And again, this is another part of the racetrack where they rarely hang it out and get very close to the wall, and they exiting a 5. The transition from pavement through to the concrete of that corner. Sam, can you talk about the feel of the car? Is it noticeable that the car kind of skates a bit once it gets across the concrete?
Yeah, I mean, as I said in Days of Thunder, loose is fast. So, coming through there, you're dancing across the track, but you've got grip. You can get on power. So, as we were saying, Lockie Hughes is on a mission right now. He's doing a really good job tearing through the field, especially when that happens on lap 1. Usually you get mad, and when you're mad, I think every race car driver wishes they could be mad every single lap of every single race. So he's doing a good job right now, but Simon Sykes out front just checking out.
What I like about Hughes right now, again, very measured. Very, like you say, he's mad, but he has closed up on Monteiro. There's been a couple quarters he may have been able to stuff it in, not quite there. Now he sets him up coming down the back straight, right? A more traditional pass here at Toronto, you set him up. If he goes to the inside, you go to the outside. There it is, Monteiro to the inside. You come through the kink. It's going to be Hughes on the outside. He gets the draft. You'll have to deep break him into the corner. He's got him by half a car length, coming across the bow from left to right. Book it. He's through in turn number 3 and moved Lockie Hughes up into 7th. Full damage control for the Aussie, trying to work his way forward. And again, now what does he have? He's able to get by Monteiro, who's got Mossman there as well. Cooper Becklin not that far behind to cap off the top 10, but now it's Hughes. Looks like Garcia Arce was up the road by about 3 seconds at that point, so he's going to have, still half the race. We're not even to the halfway point for Lockie Hughes. A potential to go to 6th. I don't know that he's going to be able to get all the way up to Di Tullio and Escoto, but you never know. If he starts putting these lap times down, the recovery continues as Matt Clark gets to within about, let's say, I was going to say about 8 inches, but what's that? Probably somewhere around 22 centimeters. We are in Canada. Let's stick with the metric system, Todd. Help me out there.
Yeah, I'll guesstimate that's just about right. But that's the objective. Get as close as you can to the wall. That's how you're going to carry the most speed through. Correct, Sam?
Yep, just opening your hands up so you can get them straight, because obviously when you're turning, you're scrubbing speed. So going side by side down the back straightaway here. This is a good race.
Yeah, we're not done yet. This is that battle for 3rd. That's Escoto trying to find a way by. Does he try the over-under? Not quite. Oh, and there's that battle further back. Di Tullio versus Garcia Arce. I'm going to throw this out there. If these guys battle, here comes Lockie Hughes. He wants them to fight. Great scrap here for the final spot on the podium. Then you got Alessandro DiTullio scrapping it out with Tana Garcia-Arce, who's looking for one of his best finishes of the year. But you got Lockie Hughes just creeping up there from P7. More than happy to see them fight. More than happy to see the defensive run to the inside. Yeah, it's almost like Matt Clark is trying to see if he can't get DiTullio back up. Can you get DiTullio in to fight with your teammate? Because I think Clark's got a handful of race car now. Yeah, he had a great start, but remember, that's a 7th to 10th place car. That's what he's had all weekend long. If he's able to bring this home in 3rd, that's a Herculean effort for a car that really probably doesn't have the pace to be on the podium right now.
Yeah, it's big. You know, when you have a 7th or 8th place car and you bring it home farther than it is, it looks like somebody missed a corner there.
Oh, did somebody go through?
Looked like Lockie, drove in a little bit too deep there. No, but he's on a tear.
Yeah, listen, he wants everything he can get, and knowing that they're fighting in front of him right now, Lockie Hughes trying to dig in here in a big way.
Just got to keep calm.
Got some, every time I'm calling these races, there's a move to the inside. Oh, I think DiTullio's going to get, Scotto's going to get it done. He does. A great move to the inside. Escoto's going to take the spot. He will go now to P3. So Ricardo Escoto. And here comes DiTullio battling on him as well. Only the second weekend in USF Pro 2000 for Alessandro DiTullio, the number 2 ranked single-speed karter in North America, focused on kart racing, but an opportunity to go USF Pro 2000 racing for the end of this season and a full season next year. The motorsports world is going to learn about Alessandro DiTullio and multiple wins in USF Juniors back in 2022. You raced with him that year, I believe.
He was my teammate.
I was your teammate at VRD Racing, so you know how quick he can be. One thing about him, he was always very aggressive. Almost too aggressive. I feel like he's kind of pulled that back, and he understands what he's doing here this year, right?
Yeah, for sure. You just, you got to take high percentage moves when you can, and, sometimes you got to take low percentage moves, but you want to minimize it. So if Lockie keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be up past Matt Clark here in a couple laps.
Thinking back to battles we've had here in the past, this USF Pro 2000 category, great scrap a number of years ago in 2016 between Pato Award and Aaron Tielitz. That was the fight that year, and Tielitz coming away with the championship. Award won a ton of races that year. We'll talk more about the history of the program as well. This is just a fantastic race we've got going. There's actually great racing all the way through. Matt Clark, look at this. This is Hughes battling it out with Garcia-Arce, who did not want to give it up at all through turn number 5. Looks like he may have gave him a little bit of shoulder coming through 5 as Garcia-Arce does not want to give up a spot there. He's currently 6th. Hughes is 7th. Ricardo Escoto up now into the 3rd spot. Hughes still with the fast lap of the race. That's a crucial bonus point for Lockie Hughes. Oh, man, that's Becklin going at it here with Mossman and Montiero. This is getting heated right now. Someone's turning up the wick here in USF Pro 2000. They're hanging it all out here. Again, there's only 4 races left in the season. This one, tomorrow morning's race, and then 2 more at Portland. So everybody fighting for their last opportunities to potentially get themselves into the top 5 or on the podium, or in the case of Simon Sykes, another race win. Victory already earlier this year. He's up the road by a second over Jace Denmark. Your Paps guys are running 1-2 right now. Sam looking very good.
Yeah, I was just going to say, here comes out my Pabst Racing bias side of me. Jason and Simon are 4 seconds up the road, so they are digging.
Yeah, they got it going on right now, and it'll be big for Jace Denmark. He's the driver who's really, right now, going to take full advantage of what's happened in this race with Nikita Johnson going out and almost into the wall for Becklin. He has a bit of trouble, has to get an all-wheel into that thing to get it turned in 5, and he's got Logan Adams on him right now as well. That's a driver pushing very hard to try to see if he can't work his way back up in a challenge to fight. There's the 10 and the 44. We've been watching that fight between Garcia-Arce and Hughes. A couple of good battles back and forth. This is Adams. I think he's been able to get by. Indeed, he is by Becklin, so move Logan Adams up into the top 10. It looks to me, Sam, like Becklin potentially dealing with a little bit of mid-corner understeer. He's really having to get on the wheel to get the thing to turn on the exit of the corners.
Especially here, understeer is hard to deal with, especially through the high-speed stuff. And being how bumpy the track is, you'd rather have an oversteery car. So, sometimes that's hard to deal with.
Yeah, we talked about some of the corners and the different surfaces. Here's a perfect example of the concrete on the inside of the corner and then the asphalt that is, of course, Lakeshore Boulevard. Big, deep move from further back. Hughes is going to send it on the inside of Garcia-Arce. They'll be side-by-side coming up the hill through turn number 4. What are we going to see when we get to 5? There's that battle still, and I think he finally gets it done. Man, sometimes when you really have a look inside the cockpit, you guys are working. It looks like you're riding a bucking bronco there. Just the hands all over the place. Is that what it is? Sometimes you're just trying to just hold on to the race car?
Yeah, sometimes when you have those oversteer moments in the middle of a corner, you're just hanging on. So trying to save it and see if you can keep going. So Lucky's doing a good job.
Becklin able to get back by Logan Adams, so that fight for 10th position's not over. Cooper Becklin able to get back by. 7/10 of a second the lead now for Simon Sykes. We're now down to 8 laps to go. 17 laps in. Last time by, Denmark quicker by about 1/10 of a second. What do we see here now out of Simon Sykes and Jace Denmark? Ricardo Escoto was quicker than both of them by about 3/10 of a second, but he's 3 seconds back. So I don't think, here's a good shot at it here. First, second, and then all the way back to Escoto in third. If they start fighting, Escoto might not be done, but a chance for him to get onto the podium. There's his teammate making a move inside Clark. And I believe DeTulio is through. Indeed, he is. Alessandro DeTulio now goes to P4. Clark back to 5th, and Lockie Hughes getting by Garcia Arce has got himself up into the 6th spot. And again, we know that this is a big day here for Jace Denmark to put some points on the board in his battle to try to get this championship away from Lockie Hughes. But again, Todd, we talked about it. If he ends up being the champion when we have our championship celebration in Portland, he's going to look back to this run, working his way forward from the back of the pack as one of the best drives he's had all year long.
Currently running 6. Will he be able to catch Alessandro DeTulio for a top 5? I don't know if he can do that in the 7 laps remaining, but when we restarted this race after that caution on the initial lap, he was back in 14th. That's 8 places he's made up on the racetrack under green flag conditions. That is a huge recovery for Lockie Hughes.
Fantastic race for Lockie Hughes. A number of drivers really taking the opportunity to leverage this chance to race on this challenging street circuit. There's the lead. I'll tell you, Jace Denmark is closing a little bit here and there. He was quicker last time by 0.2 of a second. He's got it down to just half a second. Jace Denmark knows he needs that first win of the year. And listen, the difference between first and second is 5 points. 30 points for a race win, 25 for second. That 5 points could get him significantly closer to the leader of the championship.
And that was just the fastest lap of the race that Jace Denmark has run. His car has been getting better. He had his fastest lap a couple laps ago and has just bettered it still. So as the fuel burns off, the battle heats up.
And look who's the fastest now. Cooper Becklin. TJ Speed just turned the fastest lap, a 109.629. Okay, so you mentioned the fuel burning down. Sam Corey, can you feel that when the fuel starts coming down and down? What does that do to the car? The balance, I know, is probably pretty simple, but can you feel that the car is kind of getting a bit quicker?
Yeah, you can feel, especially in qualifying earlier today. Yep. We were trying to stay out just so we could burn fuel. So burning that fuel load will let the car it'll let it eat. It'll, you don't feel it a ton in the balance, maybe a little bit in the rear when the car's a bit heavier. Keeps the rear down, maybe a little understeer as the weight lifts off the rear of the car, but no, especially at the end of a run like this, you can pull out some pretty fast times. Especially with this Continental tire, it lasts a long time. It plateaus after it being brand new, and it just stays there. Tire's really good.
Yeah, we've heard that a lot throughout the years. That tire has that consistency, and people have loved that transition to the Continental tires. Big slide there for Garcia Arce coming out of the corner. Look at this battle. Yeah, Lockie Hughes is closed up on Matt Clark right now, so a possible chance for him to go to P5. Clark, as we know, has been kind of on the defensive from the get-go here. He was able to get himself up into 3rd spot, but the pace just not quite there in the car. So this is really, again, like I said, a Herculean effort here for Matt Clark to try to hold on to a top 5. He's got the point leader right behind him. He's doing whatever he can to come home with a good result here. Currently 11th place in points, wanting to move himself up into the top 10. We had Mac on to help us broadcast the win here by Sam Corey in USF 2000. Talked all about how hard they're working to find the funding so he can continue to race in 2025. A talented young Canadian, could be the next driver in IndyCar from Canada, but got to keep digging to try to find that funding. Drivers coming through turn 1 using all of the racetrack with 20 down, 5 to go. 5 laps remaining. I just got to think that Lockie Hughes is going to be unstoppable here. He's been so impressive working his way forward. He's a little bit back right now. There's Clark. There's Hughes. Then you've got Garcia Arce. Then the next group of 3 drivers all lined up, Montiero, Mossman, and Becklin. Becklin, as we said, turned fast lap of the race a couple laps ago, so he's got a hot rod there from TJ Speed. And remember, here's the thing about Becklin. He's having a good run here right now, running 10th. He's going to start 4th tomorrow. So a great opportunity for him to get a really good feel for this race car over a 25-lap distance, and you can see it's getting better and better at the end. So I think he might be a challenger for a podium tomorrow for Cooper Becklin.
Lockie's there.
Yeah, and he's trying everything, right? You can see him inside, outside, and you know this, Sam, and Mac knows it as well. When you're pushed on somebody like this, you got to try to force that mistake, right? You got to stay on the gearbox. You got to fill those mirrors, left side, right side. See if you can't push them into just missing the braking zone just a little bit, locking up a tire. That's Sam, you're smiling. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's how I got the win this morning.
Yep.
So it's just, filling the mirrors and trying to force them into an error.
Unforced errors are one thing that drivers beat themselves up about after you've made it, especially when you're trying to go for a race win or whatever it may be. When you make that error that you're forced into, you pride yourself on your consistency, and you're able to hit all the marks, and you're able to just be like almost robotic in being able to do everything you need to do on the corner turn and apex exit, just really maximizing the car and the abilities every time. Oh, big slide for Matt Clark. I'm telling you, mid-corner. Oh, there's another one. Both D-Force cars with a bunch of mid-corner oversteer, a ton of wheel, the car rotating big time right at the apex and corner exit. How tough is that to drive, Sam? Again, here's Lockie Hughes trying it. It's just a handful of race car.
Especially when you have an oversteering car like that, just losing it, it's hard to gather up, especially when you've got a wall on your outside and you're trying to avoid. So Lockie's doing everything he can here.
You were part of the rookie racers when we brought them over, the kids to come over to talk to you guys, and they asked about reaction time. That's what this is all about, is it not? Like you guys are coming out of the corners with full wheel, and you got to do whatever you can to make sure it doesn't go into the wall.
Yeah, for sure. They asked really good questions earlier today, but everything happens so fast, so you have to kind of stay in your mind, take a breath, and try to slow everything down just to keep hitting your marks and doing your thing.
So the battle going down the back straightaway for that fight for 5th position. Matt Clark, Lockie Hughes, and George Arce are just wheeling it here. And I feel for me right now, I think Hughes realizes I've got, 3 laps to go. My only opportunities now is to go to 5th. I'm not going to throw this away. I already know that Nikita Johnson, who's the closest to me, is already out of the race. You know they've told him that on the radio, right? You're good to go. Nikita's out. You got to bring this thing home. So can he get Clark? He doesn't have to get Clark. That's the key. He would like it, the extra points for sure, but no need to throw it away, knowing, of course, that Mac's doing whatever he can to do well here at the home race.
Still got a lot of time left. 3 laps to go here. He's still got plenty of time to get by. 2 long straightaways, so see what he can do.
I like the nonchalance here. Like, yeah, there's 3 laps to go. I would be getting anxious. I'd be like, I'm running out of time. No, Sam says there's lots of time left. So Lockie Hughes, and as you know, there really is 3 good opportunities to pass, 1, 3, and 8. So, Montiero within an inch of the wall coming out of turn number 11. The big run down the straightaway, 2 laps to go. Let's give it up right now for Simon Sykes trying to get win number 2. For Jace Denmark, this would be his 4th straight podium and 3rd straight 2nd place finish. Knocking on the door of the victory as they come through turn 3. There is Escoto. There is DeTulio. This would be his best run. Big run around the outside there as Lockie Hughes thinking about going by Matt Clark. And does he have it? No. Mac able to defend again, but this time he over-unders him. He's right beside him coming into turn number 5. Watch this through here. Big run around the outside. Clark trying to hold on. I think Lockie's going to get him through 6, and he's through. All that pressure over, under, inside, outside. And I'll tell you, Clark really just holding on to that car through turn number 5 every lap. The fact that he hasn't tossed it in the wall is an absolute miracle. Doing a tremendous job with his quick hands. Let's key on the leaders here now as they come onto the front straightaway. This is the battle we need to look at. White flag flying. Does Jace Denmark have anything for his teammate, Simon Sykes? Listen, he won here last year in USF 2000. You win again here in USF Pro. You're going to really start liking this racetrack. Simon Sykes down the back straightaway. Probably the real final time for Denmark. Does he have any opportunity? Last time by 0.6, a tenth quicker. Not quite enough. The big run down the straightaway into turn number 3 as they'll come into the corner. Denmark not close enough. He, of course, knows as well that Nikita's out. He knows that Lockie Hughes is back, that he's gained a couple of points here. This is the crucial opportunity. Simon Sykes looking to get another victory. How about a Pabst Racing 1-2 if they get it all done here? Clean through 5. Again, Denmark's going to keep digging. Can he force his teammate into a mistake? I don't know. Simon Sykes is a KG veteran, one of the older drivers in this series, ready to move to Indy next if possible. Won the USF 2000 championship last year. Just a couple of corners to go. We'll let you loose in a couple seconds, smiling Sam Corr. You can cheer for your guys in the second. Out of the final corner, anything from Chase Denmark? They got to be clean and green, and they are. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and it's not going to happen. Pabst Racing 1-2. Simon Sykes, victorious on the streets of Toronto. He wins race 1 for USF Pro 2000. Here comes the remainder of the fight. Ricardo Escoto on the podium. Again, great job for him, his second podium of the year, having finished third at Road America as well. Alessandro Di Tullio, ADT, goes P4. What a run for Di Tullio in only his second weekend here in USF Pro 2000. Third race into the top 5. Lockie Hughes from 14th back to 5th. That is going to be some fun in-car video to watch. I'd like to see that on board. Great run for Lockie to get back to P5, but still, Denmark 3 positions better. That's going to be significant points for Jace Denmark closing up. Mac Clark ends up in 6th. Strong run for Mac, having started in 7th, went to 3rd, back to 6th. So a solid run for him. George Garcia-Arce in 7th. Frankie Mossman 8th. Cooper Becklin with fastest lap of the race finishes in 9th. Remember, he's going to start 4th tomorrow. And Nicholas Montiero rounding out the top 10. We had a little argy-bargy early, Todd, but by the end of that one, it was a ton of fun all the way through. Lots of different battles.
Great battles throughout the field from the USF Pro 2000 drivers. Not unexpected. It's what we saw in the USF 2000 race a little bit earlier today. And we'll see from both series again first thing tomorrow, because race number 2, Sam, I know you want to celebrate the first victory, but not too much celebrating tonight, because you got to do it again first thing tomorrow morning.
Hey, that's the goal, yeah.
And you're happy right now. Not only did you put a Pabst racing car on the top of the box, Simon Sykes did. It's a good time for Pabst right now.
It's a great night for Pabst tonight. You know, Simon Sykes and Jace Denmark, great drive for both of them, just staying consistent. So obviously, Jace being in the points, this is great for them.
Sam, how do people follow you on social media? I want to make sure they're able to follow you. Talk about your sponsors that make it happen for you.
Yeah, I can't thank the Pabst Racing guys enough. You know, they do have great cars every weekend. So you can find me on Instagram at Sam Corey Racing, you know, X at Sam Corey Racing, and Facebook at SJ Corey Racing. And then find me on my website, Sam Corey Racing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. He's got to go to a sponsor dinner tonight. This guy keeps working and working and working. Great job, Sam Corey. We'll let him go, because we are going to see the driver here pull into pit lane here momentarily, I believe. Simon Sykes is going to be a thrilled driver here. Look at that. That's the scholarship livery, having won the championship in USF 2000 last year. Man, bringing Pabst Racing and Augie Pabst their first driver championship in USF 2000. There's the Mockett logo we've seen on so many great drivers over the years. Doug Mockett supporting Simon Sykes. And look at the adulation. Yeah, the excitement, the relief, victories here. I know how much he loves Toronto. We talked a lot about this weekend, how much he loves this race. And Simon Sykes is jacked up for this one. Super excited. Here comes the team owner, Augie Pabst, in. Man, that is big. This kid, of course, had a great run last year to the championship and has done a tremendous job this year. He's had some up and downs this year. A win at Indianapolis. It hasn't been smooth sailing, but for him to get the victory here, it's going to be big for him moving him forward. He may have the opportunity to move up potentially into, I want to say, 6th. I don't know that he's going to be, he won't be able to challenge for 5th as of yet, but he's going to move himself up close. He may end up getting in the top 5 before the end of the season, because Simon Sykes is making it work. He is your race winner today. Jace Denmark 2nd, Ricardo Escoto in 3rd, Alessandro Di Tullio 4th, Lockie Hughes rounding out the top 5. Matt Clark ends up 6th. The Canadian driver, a strong effort, did everything he could to get to the end. George Garcia-Arce in 7th, Frankie Mossman 8th, Cooper Becklin in 9th, and Nicholas Montiero will round out the top 10. So everybody's getting things working over here in Victory Lane, folks. Don't go anywhere. Just stay right with us here now. When we get back, we'll have Victory Lane celebrations, and I'll have a chance to talk to the winner, Simon Sykes.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
it's a fresh start. It's a career's on the line. It's a great chapter. Right? I think everybody's goal is
Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto.
Making a good
Again, first thing tomorrow morning, so come on back early. 8 o'clock, we'll get things underway. We've got some of our guests from Continental Tire going to help us out here to pass some awards. But let's start with the driver coming home with a fantastic run to P3 for BN Racing. Give it up for Mexico's Ricardo Escoto. What a drive. Sandra De Silva's going to help us out with the P3 trophy. Excellent drive for Ricardo for BN Racing, and they finished 4th as well, as I said, with Alessandro De Tullio, so a great run for that team. Championship tightening up, folks. We saw Lockie Hughes work his way back up to P5. Nikita Johnson had an issue. This driver, 3rd, though, gained a bunch of points. He's in the middle of the fight. For Pabst Racing, folks, 2nd place, Jace Denmark. Frank Montanello coming up here to give us the P2 trophy. 3 in a row, I think, for you as well. 4 podiums, 3 second-place finishes in a row. Consistency getting it done right now. But I'll tell you, big victory for this driver here. Huge for him. He won last year, folks. We can start calling the mayor of Toronto if you want. This guy knows how to get around for Pabst Racing. The winner today, Simon Sykes. You and I have talked all weekend about how much you love this city, how much you love this racetrack. And we also talked that when you got out front, you don't normally lose a lead when you get out front like that.
I mean, first of all, the city, it's a great event. It's one of my best on the year. Just the overall, the atmosphere here is unlike any other. The fans, it's amazing to see all the support that comes out for this great Toronto event. And this track, oh, what a track. It's so wild, so bumpy, but that makes it all the more fun. So just love this place, and it feels good to stand on the top step here again.
Pabst Racing gave you a great car there like they did last year. They kind of helped you out, giving you that first ride last year to win the USF 2000 championship. But on your way up the ranks, you were able to run with Greg Rice, a Canadian team owner, Rice Race Prep. He passed away just this past week. I know you said to me here that you did that for Greg.
Absolutely. That one was 100% for Greg. He was near and dear to me. He ran me for years. He's the reason I'm in a race car right now as we speak. He got me my start in Formula Car racing, and I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me. And just beyond being a great team owner, a good friend who I'm proud to have known. And the sad news that he passed away this past week, but carrying on in his memory, and this one was all for him.
You guys keep getting quicker and quicker. Can you win tomorrow as well?
I certainly hope so. I'm starting a little farther back tomorrow, so we'll need to work our way up front. But the strength we have in these Pabst cars is incredible. Tonis and the whole Pabst team did an incredible job giving us the package to go out in front and win. And I think it's just a testament to have 2 cars on top 2 steps of the podium. And a massive congratulations to Jace, who's well in that championship hunt. So a big day for the whole team.
Well done.
Thank you.
One more time, Simon Sykes, folks. Let's get that trophy up here for Simon, his 2nd win of the year. Dylan Whitman will provide us with the trophy here. Dylan, congratulations. And again, Simon Sykes, the driver who just a couple of years ago was not able to put together full seasons, didn't get a chance to run for a team of the quality of Pabst Racing. He got a chance to drive that car last year in USF 2000, paid them off by scoring their first driver championship in USF 2000. And here he is with the scholarship colors, getting it done. His 2nd win of the season. Put him out front early, and he was gone. Denmark kept pushing all the race long to try to get in there, but that's 4 straight podium finishes for Jace Denmark. 3 straight second-place finishes. He wants to get that first victory. It could come tomorrow. And, of course, last but not least, in P3, what a great drive for Ricardo Escoto as well for BN Racing. On the podium in 3rd. Hard-fought race. So many battles all the way through the field. The scrap from Mac Clark, the Canadian, from just down the 401 in Milton, digging to try to keep himself in the top 5. Ends up finishing in the 6th position. We saw more fights further back. Cooper Becklin for TJ Speed during the fastest lap of the race. He'll start 4th tomorrow. That's the guy you may want to watch as well from the Pacific Northwest up in Portland. But again, we always talk about the fact that the drivers you're seeing here right now are just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series. Opportunities to go. The last 6 drivers, last 6 champions in USF Pro 2000, 4 are in IndyCar, 2 are stars in the Indy Next Series, 1 leading the points, Louis Foster. So this is the future of IndyCar right here. Pato Award was here a couple of years ago. Christian Rasmussen, Renus VK, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Robb. These are the drivers you're going to see here in Toronto in 3 or 4 years. Guys, drop those trophies down. Let's cap off a beautiful Saturday with a bit of champagne. Grab those bottles, grip it and rip it. Champagne time here in Victory Lane. Simon Sykes, victorious in race 1 for USF Pro 2000. He said he starts deeper in the field tomorrow. We'll see what he can do working his way to the front. What a fantastic day of competition. Thank you so much, folks, for being part of it here to cap off a beautiful Saturday here in Toronto. Back bright and early tomorrow morning. We start with USF 2000 right into USF Pro 2000 to set the stage for this year's Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast, folks. We do appreciate it. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.